Hey everyone, welcome to The Chosen Few, a game where we play some RPG. The words in the English are not my thing today. Um, this is our channel where we play RPGs and stuff. Come check us out. We have a lot of fun. And here we are going to be playing some RPGs. We are coming to the end of a rather large arc, several levels at least, and are going to start figuring out what our next arc is going to be as a group. And that sounds like a lot of fun to me. But before we do that, I believe that everyone leveled up last time, yeah? So let's just do a quick round robin and see what everyone got. Nika, playing Celexa. What did you take at this level?
So Lexa took her third level in Bard, which puts her at Warlock 3, Bard 3. And she got some really exciting stuff. She, first of all, from Bard, she picked up expertise, which I'm just making that final determination now. I, the kind of obvious choice for a bard and for a sort of charisma character is to sharpen her points, so to speak, and take expertise in deception and persuasion. So I'm leaning towards that unless I can think in the next 5 minutes of a compelling reason not to.
Okay.
And let's see. She gained something called Mantle of Inspiration, which is a new way for her to use her inspiration dice. And basically, it's a combat ability where she can spend an inspiration dice as a bonus action, and she can grant all her teammates. I think they get 5 temporary hit points, and they can instantly use their reaction to move up to their speed if they want. So
Nice.
it's like instant like
Mobility.
repositioning and like extra movement basically
Yeah.
for the party. So that's actually that ability is kind of the main reason why I even took College of Glamour in the first place, because I love that so much.
Mobility is one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I feel like for me, like tactical positioning is my favorite part of combat. So yeah, so that's anyways. Cool. So that another thing called enthralling performance, which is basically a very bardy kind of way to win people over without them even noticing. And then a couple of um, second level spells. Well, I took. What did I decide to take? I think I decided to take silence and then to trade charm person for enhance ability.
Let me tell you, as a performer, there are times that I wish I could cast silence. Like, just look out at that audience and think, you all suck. Silence. Now listen to me, damn it. Just saying.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
I mean, not that that's ever happened. But
Anyways,
nonetheless, yes.
big level for Celexa.
Yeah, sounds good to me. I like it. And just below Selixa, we have Caliban.
Sure. Hi.
Hi. How are you doing, Evan? Playing
I'm
Caliban.
great. I'm good. The air quality's nicer today.
It is, though somehow still not good on my lungs.
My level up was not that eventful. Cleric 6th level, you get another 3rd level spell to be able to cast, but I still have the whole list, so I don't learn anything new. I do get a class feature, a pretty cool one, called, please hold, drum roll please, Embodiment of the Law. Where and it's a fun one, and it really changes the way that I need to think about my spell casting, because if I cast an enchantment school spell using so not a cantrip, I can change the spell's casting time to 1 bonus action from an action.
Wow.
So I can use that feature a number of times equal to my wisdom modifier, which is 5. So I can use it a lot. And so I can
because the law is
basically
so fast and fast acting?
nope.
Okay.
Maybe because he wants it to be.
Okay, fair enough.
And so yeah, now I can like cast Hold Person as a bonus action.
That's
And then
pretty
attack.
cool.
Or cast Bane as a bonus action. And then cast a cantrip that requires a saving throw.
Always good.
Yeah, good stuff.
Sounds like a good match for you. Makes you
Yeah.
that seems useful to me, being able to cast a spell as a bonus action.
For sure. That's it.
All good things. Moving across the table to Nova, played by Winona.
I got ability score increase. I put it into strength, so now my strength is 20.
Oh, so you just want to be able to do more damage.
Yeah, I mean,
effectively with everything that you do. You just want to be consistently more effective all the time.
Just fighter things, you know.
Yeah, fighter things, you know. Just be able to, let's see, you've got 2 attacks right now, so 2 attacks a turn at +5 damage on each attack, and you use a greatsword?
Right? Yeah.
That's 2d6, is that right?
2d6, yeah, +5.
Cool. So like 34 damage in a turn, maxed if you don't action surge. That seems good.
Yeah.
Seems consistent. 12 damage a strike on average, 24 damage a turn on average. I like it. I'll take it. Sounds good to me. Let's go above you. We have Timothy, played by the wonderful John.
Hello.
Hey,
Let's see. Not the most exciting. Well, potentially, maybe exciting. I got a new favored enemy. Which,
you know what you're taking?
I think I'm taking Aberration because
you've been doing a lot of studying of aberrations.
Yes, and those are the things that have been dropping from the skies, right?
Largely, yes.
Yeah. So it seemed to make sense. As much as Timothy has a favored enemy of any kind.
Yeah, you certainly understand them better now, so it makes story sense to me.
Yeah.
Something that might be worth talking about and or considering for you is the possibility of multi-classing. I find that as we go up, Ranger starts getting very cyclical, and you don't scale quite as high as some other people scale. So that might be something that's worth thinking about and or considering moving forward.
Yeah. I think I'd be interested in dipping into the more scholarly sides of him.
I think that could be awesome and cool, and I would be very intrigued to see that kind of class, because that's kind of who he is. He is a scholar, and so seeing if there's like a scholarly way to play him. God, there might even be a I think I saw a scholar homebrew class. I'd have to look around and see if I still have it around somewhere.
Cool. All right.
Some sort of knowledge-based warlock might be interesting as well.
That's also possible, yeah. Interesting. And last but far from least, Ami playing Thea.
I got to choose 2 more proficiencies. 6. I think I chose Persuasion and Investigation.
The Persuasion makes a lot of sense with your psionic abilities. We can almost sort of narrate that as you being like able to just pick up stray emotions from them a little bit and be like, oh, I could manipulate them better by going this way. That seems very, very slick and or cool to me, and I am down with that. Works for me.
And is that proficiency or is that expertise? I'm not sure how that class works.
Oh, I should double check that too.
Well, it was under expertise, and then at level 6, I choose 2 more proficiencies.
So that's expertise.
2 more.
Right? You then apply expertise to those proficiencies.
Yeah. Pick 2 skills that you already have and make them be expertise. Let's double check that though, just for the sake of double checking as we do these things. Yeah, expertise.
Can I just check it, right?
No.
No. Oh.
Aha. No.
Oh.
Good thing we're checking. Thank you, Nika/Alexa, for catching that for us, because I would have blown on past until I was bothered by it, like in several sessions, and been like, that doesn't seem right to me. Is there something wrong here? So thank you for catching that. That's the whole. Well, that's not the whole point, but that's one of the points of doing these together. So Thea, actually, what we are supposed to do here is what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to look at the list of skills that you already have and figure out which ones you want to be super better at.
Oh, okay. Super better at.
Yeah. You can't pick things that you are already super better at, which is specifically, I think, stealth and thieves' tools. But you can pick anything else that you want to be super better at.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Well, persuasion, I think I'll want to
Okay.
be super good at that.
Sure.
Does
Oh, did you have persuasion already though? Because it has to be stuff that you already have.
Oh, that I was already.
Yeah, things that you were already blue check marked in, like Twitter verification.
Okay.
And things that you were already Twitter verified in, and then you become super good at that.
Oh. Okay. So that changes things. Boop, 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 boop. Maybe survival.
Okay.
Would make sense. And deception.
Survival and deception. Yeah. I like it. You have gotten practice at deceiving people, so that makes sense to me. I will fix that on your character sheet. I'm not sick.
Cool.
I'm not
I had
dying.
no idea.
There you go. There you go. So survival and deception are now super good. Ain't that nice? Thanks for catching that, Nika. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Good stuff. More damage, more better. Always true. Okay, cool. So one final little piece of housekeeping before we dive into this. Celexa, you enter your room on your airship, and there is a small silk black bag on the bed.
Celexa pauses for a moment. She kind of like is surprised for a minute, and then she looks like she kind of like remembers something, and sort of like a dawning curiosity comes into her eyes, and she goes over to the bag and picks it up and looks inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, inside is a small deck of cards. Seems to have about 30 cards in it.
Is it something that I recognize?
Yeah, I'll allow an Arcana check here, but yeah, no, I'll allow an Arcana check here. Why not?
Okay, let's see what happens. Where are we? And I guess this is as good a time as any. Celexa will cast Enhance Ability on herself to get advantage on intelligence checks for the next hour.
Sounds good to me. Yeah. So you've seen this before. I actually want you to tell me where you've seen this before. Did maybe one of your criminal friends had something like this that they used once or twice and you've seen this before? This is a deck of illusions.
I think that this was something that so there were things that belonged to Celexa's like great grandparents, who were the ones who kind of they had a sort of a story behind them, and they had a big influence on her family legacy. And there were things that belonged to them that were often kept out of sight in her in the home where she grew up. And I think this was among them, and she either like ran across them, like looking through things that she wasn't supposed to, or maybe like saw uh, somebody in her family like talking about them or showing them off or something like that when she wasn't supposed to be there. So I think that's where she has seen this before.
Yeah, your family has like a storied history and a lot of power and influence, and so it's not surprising that that magical items of various sorts would end up in your guys' possession at some point or another. Yeah, I love that. I think that's great. Yeah, so you have been gifted a deck of illusions as a thank you. I like it. Okay. So here we all are on a boat sailing into the sunset. Nope, sorry, I guess we're sailing south. That's not really into the sunset, is it?
It depends.
Be in this world.
The sunset, yeah.
No.
Is it not canon now that the sun sets in the south?
Oh god. No, I'm certain that it's been setting in the west this whole time. I'm pretty sure I've probably said, ooh, the sun's
Now
in
with the
west.
covering gone, anything can happen.
Yeah, maybe the sun's in a new location. Maybe we were wrong the whole time. Okay, so sailing south through the air in the winds, and on this airship we have the five of you. Who did we leave behind in the Kava? Someone just raises their hand quietly and says, Caliban.
Oh no!
No, I know, I'm kidding.
Caliban was furiously writing notes about their journey. Yeah, Caliban left Arturo, his retainer, behind in the Kava, in order to maintain a foothold there, and have someone that he could really trust to report accurate information.
That sounds like what Arturo is good at. Did anyone else leave their retainers there? Is Meek running wild in the Kava?
I think so. I think so. I think I left Meek to help Arturo, and I also gave Meek the coordinates to the hidden stash of supplies and weapons I buried just outside of town.
Very useful. Did you give him instructions as to what to do with that?
I said, dig up in case of emergencies.
You'd be good at digging.
Great. You'll know when.
Okay. Let's see. What about Nephany? What about Thylor?
I think I would bring Nephany with me because she's not supposed to be there anyway.
Yeah, that's totally fair. She's in exile. Some people seemed to kind of notice, but didn't really notice. So she managed to escape quite well. She's quite relieved to leave. She does not want to stay behind. She doesn't really say much because, she's got that whole I'm super laconic thing going for her. But yeah. Yeah, Nephany's with you. What about Thylor?
I think I might have left Thylor there just as somebody to speak psionically with many beings that are there.
Okay. So we've left 3 of our retainers there, it sounds like, because I think Captain Fliston is piloting the ship, obviously. If that's okay with everyone. And by everyone, I really mean just Celexa.
Sure. I guess that's fine. I thought we were going with another, like on another ship.
Indeed, you are.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're heading on the ambassadorial conveyance. Absolutely. But she still has experience.
Great. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I think Captain Fliston seems like she would be an obvious choice for a pilot in this case. So
yeah. Also, what if you guys get in their ship later and need a pilot? Or something, maybe. Okay, cool. So Nephany and Captain Fliston will hang out with you guys. And the rest of you are heading back down to down south to the floating city of Terra Vest. What is there anything that anyone wants to accomplish on this voyage? Any scenes that anyone wants to have happen? We've got our small crew of brain shrimp as well that are hanging out here. But beyond that, and then we've got sort of this large ambassadorial group here. Let's see, particularly including obviously our big friendly fellow Abdul Kumar's partner, Kasher. There you go. Yeah, but there's the five of you, your two assistants, your one familiar, and Kasher, and then a crew of a couple of people and some people who are going to be attendants to Kasher down in the floating city. So, does anyone have to do anything here?
How long is the voyage?
4 days.
Okay.
3 days.
I'd like to speak with Kasher at least once.
Of course. Greetings, Nova. How are you?
Hey, so can you remind me again why you're going with us?
Because I am the ambassador.
Okay, and you're gonna help make sure that we don't have a war?
Well, that's certainly my job description has many different elements that are bound together into one purpose, which I then embody as best I can. Certainly a lack of war would be ideal in every sense of the word. But if there is a war, I want to ensure that it's made clear that the Kava are not the aggressors here and that it is Chalestra, so that should the Grand Accord choose to involve themselves, they will not be on Chalestran's side, despite Chalestran's history with the Accord.
Okay. What's gonna, like, what are you gonna do if there is a war? Are you gonna, like, go back to the Kava?
No, well, I guess I could see that would happen if someone... That would be intense. That would be a strong reaction. Generally speaking, I can't imagine that I would be asked to pull out of Terra Vest unless there was some dramatic change that occurred. And truth be told, I think that you guys already managed that one.
That's fair.
Can I be walking by
Sure.
and sort of jump in a little bit? Yeah, Terra Vest is made to be a neutral territory, correct?
True. Yes,
It
it's
is-
no one's claim.
Yeah. So it really, returning to Nova, probably the safest place we, as people who have ties to, or I guess me and Timothy, people who have ties to both Chalestra and Kava, probably the safest place for both of us to be right now.
Speak for yourself. I'm going to the war front.
Oh. Did you?
Love it.
That doesn't sound like Timothy.
But
As a protester.
yeah, Nova. Once we get there, what do you? We have these guests with us. What do you suppose we do with them? Also, did we tell Kasher that we have these?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. I kind of thought that Thea had a plan.
The guests? Who are you speaking of?
Oh, just
Maybe
our two retainers, since they're new with us.
Oh, yes, of course. I think of them as being almost part of you because, you know, they were there when you entered into the Kava and I first met you. So think of them as sort of your left hands each, as it were. I was honestly surprised that so many of you chose to leave them behind.
They'd only been with us for a little while.
Of course.
Anyway, I'd love to maybe talk about that before we touch down.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, that seems
I'll
like a good plan.
go elsewhere.
Well, Abdul Kumar, my love, does not travel well, but I love traveling. And so tonight, we feast on the deck, looking out over the skies and the mountains and the grounds beneath us. Sound enjoyable? You, of course, are invited as my guests.
Of course. Definitely.
Well, was there something else you wanted from me, Nova?
Oh, no, that's it.
Very well, then. You are always welcome in my cabin. And he, I think he's wearing, he's wearing pajamas with a, very plush robe over them, but the plush robe is, 3 sizes too small, so it doesn't quite close. But he's wearing full pajamas underneath it, so it doesn't really matter. And he's got like a cocktail in one hand and like just a fruit platter lying on a table that he's picking from daintily with his other hand. And just sort of like enjoying like lying there comfortably. It's not a bed; it's like a long couch. What do you call those things? I don't remember what you call those things.
Shade lounge.
There you go, shade lounge. And so he's just lying there comfortably, drinking and chatting with you. And he wants to be helpful, but like he also, he's comfortable.
Anything he can do from there.
Mm-hmm. Or at the feast later. Okay. Other scenes that people want to have? Timothy, you seem to have a moment of thought. Come back to you.
Come back to me. The moment is still
percolating.
His work.
Caliban.
Sure. I want to get the whole group together.
Okay.
Probably. Where are we keeping the guests?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have like a trunk. That's filled with water.
Okay. Okay. In one of our rooms, probably.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I think the room is crowded, and so Nephany just sort of looks around the room and makes eye contact with Nova and says, "I'll stand guard," and turns and walks outside.
That's wise.
Does everyone show up to this when Caliban calls a meeting? Right for him? Okay.
Sure, I guess.
So we have our guests coming with us. What is the intent here?
Well, isn't this whole thing like a diplomatic journey? And we want to introduce people to them. And not have them immediately be seen as a threat.
Right. I just want to make sure that we don't have two separate diplomatic missions here. Right? We're looking at the possibility of war between Celestra and the Kva, and we're looking at the possibility of once the Kvanians find out about Nuja and about others, that they are going to look unfavorably at the brain shrimp. So I personally find it a little weird to be bringing up the brain shrimp with the Grand Accord before we bring it up with the Gavanian people. Like it seems a little back-asswards. I feel like it would also cloud our mission to have diplomatic relations regarding the Kvan and Celestra, if that would be our goal.
Maybe this isn't a time to, to go and stand in the middle of the Grand Accord and demand justice for brain shrimp. Maybe this is a time to keep our ears open or keep our eyes peeled for potential allies and people who we can trust, who would be who we can bring into our shared knowledge. It seems like this is more of a long-term. This feels less urgent than war to me.
We have to also make sure that we have a way to feed them. They feed on bone metal. It's, from what I gather, a very expensive thing to create and often very difficult to create. If we bring this up with select people, the first thing that we'd have to do is figure out a way to get them their food source. And that's going to be a lot of pressure from a honestly much less wealthy country than the Kava.
I brought food.
Is it enough to last them their lifetime? Like,
I mean, it's definitely enough for this trip.
okay. I just want to make sure that we're not carrying them around with us for the rest of our lives.
I think, one, I think the scientific community is going to jump at the possibility of learning more about this new species, and I think they will do so with open arms and excitement and understanding. Many of my friends and colleagues would love to have this opportunity, and we don't care about the politics. So that's one thing, I think. Second thing,
As we all know, scientists are usually the very models of discretion, right?
yes. The second thing, though, is I disagree with what you were saying, Caliban. I think we should be forthright and upfront about their existence, and we should tell the Grand Accord everything, because, like, worst case scenario, Chalestra marches on the Kava and they break down the door, and then everyone finds out that there's this new species, and they assume that it's alien and hostile, and they kill all of them. Like, do you really want them finding out then and there?
So the problem with me in being forthright is that I'm still not convinced that they're not just out to kill us all. Like, not all of them, but that is a significant portion of them, Nuja included. So I'm not personally comfortable with arguing for their sake in this case.
I think that we should prioritize making sure that the war is quelled, and then once things settle down, if we want to bring up some additional information that we learned, I think telling the Grand Accord is not the risky move. I think maybe telling Chalestra is the riskier move.
There are spies everywhere. I think if we tell the Grand Accord, we tell Chalestra.
Out of character, I wonder if this is a situation that can be translated at all into character goals for specific people in the party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And if this is an opportunity for us to try and play with that mechanic for a second.
So coming out of character now and just working that out right now.
Well, I'm just saying we haven't done that yet.
I mean, my intention was to start that next session.
Okay.
Because I think that it takes time to get everyone's mind around it. Sorry, everyone. I mentioned that I wanted to change something, and everyone sort of seemed up for it broadly when I was looking in the chat, broadly at least, in terms of how we run this game. And but I also proposed it at like 4:22 before a 4:30 game. So I sort of was proposing that we hold off until next week. I don't think that it's going to resolve this week.
And from my experience playing those couple games of Burning Wheel with you, and your own experience from playing Burning Wheel, it takes time to really hash out those things. And
yeah, so I'd rather give it the time that it needs to work it out, especially early on when we don't quite know how to, like, none of you here, I think, nope, only one of you here has ever really crafted beliefs in this way that I'm talking about here, character goals. So it may take a couple of passes on a belief before we have it into workable form. My experience is that the more you do, the easier it becomes, right?
Sure.
The long-term players will be fine with this. And honestly, some of you may just take to it like a fish in water, and get it like right away. Totally.
I'm a mud skipper personally, so
fine by me too. Fine by me too. But either way, it may take some time, and it's but I think I want to do like the work of it off stream, and then actually implement it on stream, if that makes sense.
That's fine. I was just trying to figure out if there's a way to move this conversation towards some kind of conclusion or resolution, because I know this is something we've talked about a lot in other.
It's true.
And it's
yeah.
totally fine. I don't know how to move it along. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's cut the conversation then, because Caliban is going to do what he's going to do.
Okay.
So conversation end. Caliban cuts the conversation and leaves the room.
That sounds perfectly reasonable to me. How does that feel to everyone else? Everyone okay with that, RP wise? Okay. Yeah. So Caliban, I will treat this as you reminding everyone your stance, right? That's what we just saw. You reminded everyone of your stance, and then we'll work on resolution when we work on resolution. Okay. Great. Awesome. What other things do people want to do on the boat before you make it home? Or home? Timothy, you almost had an idea, and you keep on looking like, I think I have an idea, but then you just keep on not saying anything. So I'm gonna pressure you.
The idea is just right there somewhere, but it's gone. I'm gonna wait until we are 24. We are 24 hours away, so or within 24 hours of them, and then I'm going to magically, with my ranger powers, flag down some type of seabird that is flying alongside us, and then convey a message to that seabird using animal messenger.
Awesome. We will make sure that happens. I'm excited to see that. Thea, I think probably our brain shrimp are in your room, because that's where they feel safest. What is your relationship to them on this boat ride? Are you like fawning over them, checking in on them all the time? Do you like mentally reach out and communicate with them? Do you ignore them and totally just like wish that they weren't there? Do you like what's the attitude? What's going on here?
I think I'm checking it in on them at least like a few times a day, especially the one that was in my brain.
Yeah, it's Zaris.
There's
Yeah. So they love checking it when you check in with you and just like want to chat. What's it look like from up here?
It's really cloudy, actually.
You must be close to the clouds.
We are. We're closer than maybe you've ever been to the clouds.
I've been through them before.
That's true.
But I couldn't really see them.
Do you want to know what they look like?
Tell me everything.
They're a bit whitish gray in color, and when you pass through them, you can almost feel the cool air on your skin. It's quite refreshing, actually.
I wish I could see them.
Someday. We'll find you a good home.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for taking care of us.
Are you hungry?
No, I'm good.
All right. I'll check on you guys later.
You know that you fed us like 3 minutes ago, right?
Oh, right. Well, I just want to make sure there's 5 of you. I just want to make sure you're sharing.
We are.
All right. And I'll check on them later.
Apparently every 3 minutes. Sorry about that. Awesome. Cool. I love it. Anyone else have anything that they want to have happen on the boat? Nova.
Just in general, Nova is going to be on deck looking at the skies, just remembering the Astrovargs.
Yeah, totally. That seems appropriate. Yeah, we don't even know who sent the Astrovargs or why.
We didn't figure that out, and that might be an issue.
Or why? Yeah, absolutely. I think Nephany is always at your shoulder when you're doing this, and like without saying anything, like she knows to look up, not like straight ahead. You know, she's good at reading what you want. And I think she at some point just like realizes that you're both looking in the same portion of the sky, so she turns her back to you and like is standing back to back with you, looking at the other side of the sky.
On the last day of travel, I'll approach Nova, and say, I know you have family that you care a lot about back home. I could, if you draw me a picture or something, I could reach out to them and let them know you're all right.
That'd be great.
What would you like to say? And I can just repeat and you send to them, because if I like have an accurate depiction of them, I can send the sending spell, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, great.
I describe them, and the message that I want to send to them is that I'm doing fine, and I'll come home when I can, but until then I want to know that they're safe, and I want to know if they've had any strange experiences lately.
Are you fishing for something in particular?
I want to know if the covering coming down has had any effect on their lives.
Sure.
So I'll say, this is Nova's companion. She is safe. She wants to know how you're doing. And if the change in night sky has had any effect on your lives.
That was exactly 25 words. Cool. Did you know that? Okay. Yes, you get a reply. I think it's going to be your sister. Is that okay, Nova?
Yeah.
Does that seem appropriate? Tell Nova we miss her. Glad that she's good. I'll tell the folk. Weird sky stuff happened. Don't know what it means or why. But creepy things are in the mines. I went one word over. Oh well.
Are in the
Oh, no.
So I'll tell Nova. So there are some creepy things in the
Mines, probably.
Let's go with that. Let's go with mines.
It's a mining town. There's nothing else there.
When you said mines, I thought you said minds.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
oh, didn't you? Oh, I totally misheard that. Okay.
No, like mines as in like.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of relieved.
Yeah. Yeah.
But mines. So, luckily they're at least alive and well.
Well, that's not good about the mines, though. They kind of have to go in there. It's kind of their job. How far away is it Caravest from
Brian?
Prine.
Yeah, from your hometown. It's actually, you're kind of going the wrong direction, right? Because like the Kava is like actually right next to Prine, in many ways. In fact, sort of on Prine border territory, although the border's a little fuzzy around there. So you're going like down from Kava to like, if this is the Kava, this is where you're going. You know, maps are maps. Let's just have maps. Maps are good, right?
Yeah.
No one objects to maps. We can just have maps. Someone say something entertaining while I load the map into the Roll20 so that you all can see it when you want to see it.
I'll extend the same courtesy to just everybody. Anyone who they would like to talk to at any time. If we ever have downtime, I'm happy to to reach out to people. I can do it 3 times a day.
Anyone?
I think I'll send a message to my family.
Mm-hmm. Who do you want to send it to?
I'll send it to my mother.
Okay.
Say something like, I'm safe and I'm traveling with friends or something like that. Just
Yeah, how aware of what you're doing was she? Like, did you tell her everything when you were called to, head here? Like, did you tell her everything, or did you tell her some things? Like, what did you say, and what did that mean to her, and how clued in was she?
I think in the end I kind of snuck out to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to remember. I think they might have known a little bit of it and maybe weren't too excited about it. That's why I just left during the night.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'd be nice to tell them I'm good. I'm alive.
Works for me. Okay. So what do you say?
So Lexa also wants to contact her younger sister.
Okay.
Just to say, gone longer. I'm not dead. You can't have my stuff. Say hi to mom.
Yeah, and you get a reply. I'm taking the lipstick.
Fucking knew she would.
Yeah, of course she would. And like you just get this feeling when she says this, like you're just sitting there thinking it's Cal. You're talking to Caliban's when you're saying it, but you just get this feeling of like, oh right, and she definitely said that while wearing my clothes and sitting on my bed, and of course.
She's probably already moved into my room, to be honest.
Yes, 100%.
I've always had the nicer room, so.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, she's just in the nicer room now. Okay, here we go.
And so, I know we're resolving a map thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Lexa is going to have one more thing before we're all wrapped up here.
Okay.
Before we land.
Yeah, sure. And I've got Timothy's thing as well. Yeah. So Caliban, I think you get no response from Thea's mother. You feel that she hears you, but she does not respond. Timothy, what is your what is your message that you want to say to this bird?
Just for clarity, did we pass over Chilestra or any part? Did we pass within 50 miles of Chilestra?
Easily, yes.
Okay.
The borders are sort of fuzzy on the map, and that's fine. I have now brought the map to you guys. This map is out of date because I made the map for an out-of-date campaign that's 50 years old now. Happens. So
50 in-game years, right?
Evan,
You're not
31 years old.
You've
been friends with me for most of my life. If I were a lich, things would be very different. So this map is out of date. There's an idea. It doesn't matter. I had a cool idea. It worked out really well for that game, but then it screwed me for all my other games. So it doesn't matter. But you can see where the Kava is quite clearly. The peninsula that has Kurama on it, you can see there. That peninsula has been severed from the continent and is floating out to sea, and is now the island of Terravest. So that is the biggest out-of-date thing. Chilestra is the sort of southwest area. You can see that Racy is the capital of Chilestra. Where I ping here. And then above that, Uxie Atoll, that's Prion. That's Prion's capital. And then the east, where the woods are, the white Crest Woods and various things, and the Blue Bark Jungle. These are all Sunera, and Abarak is basically the mountain range. So yes, you are definitely within 50 miles of things. In fact, you fly right over the city of Juturo, which is sort of on the. It's a Chalestran city that's on the border of 3 nations. So it's a very popular trade town.
Is there a university there?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to, as we are passing by that town, I'm going to convey to my bird messenger. I'm going to describe in vivid detail the description of the head professor there.
Okay.
Of let's do biology.
Okay.
I'm going to say scientific community, scientific advancement and news coming shortly. Prepare for big changes. How are you?
Is this spell Animal Messenger?
It is.
Okay, let me just glance at the spell for a second. Animal, beast, squirrel, blue jay, or bat, blah blah blah. Okay, red-haired dwarf, blah blah blah. 25 words. Okay, 50 miles, you're good. Delivers the message, blah 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 blah. Replicating the sound of your voice. So how well do you know the head of the biology program at Juturo University?
I think fairly well. I feel like I've done some like odd fieldwork jobs for them, like going out and collecting species.
Yeah, I think the academic community in Chalestra in particular is very small. Chalestra, there's a city called Hile, which is also known as the City of Colleges, which is out in the ocean, and like that's where everyone goes. But like the other cities all have colleges and universities as well. It's just that like it's a very small community in the sense that like everyone sort of knows each other. It's like Boston, basically. And so like every professor has worked with other smart people and professors and things like that. So the guy just will definitely recognize your voice and gets the message.
Cool.
But doesn't quite know what to do with that because you didn't really give him any instructions as to what to do with that. But he's prepared.
Thank you.
Actually, I think she's female. She is prepared. Okay. Okay, and then Celexa, you have one more thing to do before you land. Is that right? Is that what you said?
Yes, I wanted to resolve the Naga necklace situation. Because I think that's one of the things that she does on this journey is to spend time focusing on it and see what it has to say to her.
Beautiful. So you start focusing on it, and as you do, you start hearing a faint hissing. Not surprising, considering the shape of a Naga necklace. But what is maybe a little surprising is that as you are focusing on this hissing, the hissing starts to make sense to you. And you can understand it. And it says, "The stars are open."
What do you mean?
The great dark above reaches out and kisses each of us.
Yes. I think I feel it too.
I can feel the great dark and the edge of all, no longer trapped here.
Is that what you want? Do you want to go there?
I have been trapped a long time. It feels good just to be able to stretch. Who is your patron, child?
I had picked an arbitrary name for Selexa's patron that I think we might have used once, but I don't know if.
No, I don't care. You can make a new one if you want.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Where are we? Let's be consistent. Oh, you my patron. You know, I didn't think you would know me.
I have been with you a long time. How could I not? It is you who has not listened.
Well, I've been a little preoccupied. Okay, I'm doing my best here. Her name is Aya. The lady Aya. She's an archfey. I've only met her once.
Yes. I can sense her in you. And what do you do for this Lady Aya?
Well, to be honest, she was a little vague. She was a little vague, and so I'm just kind of trying to take it one step at a time, and we've been helping lots of people as far as I can tell, but she hasn't really asked for much.
Have you been listening? I speak as one who has been ignored for a month.
Okay, yeah, I get your point. Maybe it's time to things are slowing down a little bit. Maybe it's time to check in.
When you do, bring me to her. She and I might help each other.
Well, I sure hope she can tell me something about you, because, wow. I think we'll pick this up later, huh? Maybe let's have a little break on the hissing voice for a while.
No reply.
Yeah, Selexa is going to shake it off and go above decks and join Nova and looking up at the towards the Great Dark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you wearing the Naga necklace? You read it.
Sorry, she has been, yes. So she will. Mm-hmm. She continues to.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Nova, I want you to roll a perception check.
Okay.
Excellent. Beautiful. I like it. Yeah, so Nova and Selexa and Nephany are all on the deck looking up.
Do I notice the necklace?
Well, she has been wearing it, for a month. So
okay, that's not new.
Yeah, it's not new. She's been wearing it for a month. I would say, I'm going to rule that. I mean, that was what the perception check was for. So I'm going to rule that because you asked the question, Yes, you notice the necklace. If everyone's okay with that. Yeah, the necklace is different. The mouth of the creature is open, and like it almost looks like it's about to bite into Selexa's neck.
It's a very lifelike necklace you have.
Yeah, I think it's always been like that. I don't know. It's
Kind of looks like it's gonna bite you.
really. I don't know. I'm sure it's fine.
Oh well, I guess so. I mean, it's just a necklace, right?
Yeah, of course. What else would it be?
I don't know. I mean, we've seen all kinds of weird stuff. I'm not like discounting anything at this point.
Nova, have I ever told you about my great grandmother?
No.
So, did anybody um in your family like fight in the Great Wars in the rebellion?
Yeah, my great grandfather did. That's how I got the sword.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, uh, so did my great grandmother, but not on the side from that you'd expect from looking at me or from or looking at her. Uh, most tieflings, of course, were um, trying to bring um, the entire world together under their central rule. And I guess we had been um, uh, we had been in Sonera for so long that my great grandmother, she knew that couldn't happen. She betrayed our people to help the people of Sonera and to make sure that they would win their part of the war. And that's how we survived, and that's how Sonera survived. Was my great grandmother betrayed the people she was supposed to be protecting. I don't know why I've been thinking about her a lot since we've left. It's weird. I don't know. I guess I just don't know if we did the right thing in the Kava.
What do you mean?
The people or the Kava isn't. It's not safe, right? I mean, I guess it wasn't safe before, but it's certainly not safe now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else we could have done, but I guess I've been wondering maybe what she would have done. And Selexa just goes quiet and looks up into the dark.
Beautiful. Mechanically, Selexa, anytime you are now immune to poison, and anytime you do poison damage, the damage is doubled. Not that you have a lot of poison damage ways to do things, but
if it comes up, cool.
But if it comes up,
well, and she does have her one inbuilt ability, right? The knock ability. So.
Yep. So there you go. There you go. And I think at this point, dawn is on the horizon of the final day of travel, and you can see in the distance the floating island sailing on the sea, the beauteous buildings, squarer and less wet than everything in the Kava, of course, but still quite feats of modern engineering in the distance from your particular on the horizon. And I think we're going to take our break slightly early today and come back with you guys landing, and we'll be there. Sound good? Beautiful. Then with that, we'll take our break. We'll see you guys back here in 10 minutes. Hey everyone, welcome back to The Chosen Few, a game where we play some RPG stuff and entertain you with our stuff of our mouth and words. As always, I like to remind everyone that there are people in the world who probably have less privilege than you. If you are sitting there watching this on Twitch or YouTube, you are probably better off than some people. And you should consider that and think about that and reflect upon that and consider the possibility of maybe finding a way to give back to people who are less well off than you. Whatever that looks like for you, I don't know. I don't know your life. But if there's a way that you can lean somewhere and try and help people, then you should definitely try to do that. I think that's the one of the healthiest things that one can do. So look for people who are less well off than you and try to help them. Right now, I'm personally donating money to fire relief in California. We've got fires here, and this entire cast is California based. So I think that's a thing that I'm personally doing right now. But it can look like something totally different from many different perspectives, and different ways of approaching things are good things to consider as well. So please look at what that is. Particularly look at people who are underprivileged, people of color, LGBTQIA plus people, and all and people who are financially less well off as well. There's a lot of different forms of identity, and they all can inform each other. So please try to help everyone that you possibly without harming yourself. From that point, let's get back into this. Oh yeah, also we run a stream. This stream is a channel. This channel has multiple shows on it. We've got shows every Monday, Sunday, Monday, Thursday, and Friday right now. 4 shows a week. Ain't that grand? This is our Sunday show. You're watching it. Oh my god, I don't need to tell you about it. Our Monday show, back tomorrow. We've been on hiatus for a little bit because of some people moving and various things, but we're back tomorrow with the assassination of Primarch Magley Black Ice, our heavy politics and intrigue game where a group of people try to assassinate a budding fascist dictator. They've had several opportunities and have failed to do it every time. Don't know why. Well, I guess I kind of know why. There are good reasons for them not to do it every time. But it's definitely causing problems because now that fascist dictator has declared a war on the Kava. So, go see why, if you're curious, that happened by watching on the Monday group. And our Thursday group, our Dungeon Delve, which is suffering pretty heavily from some of the decisions that this group has made, because they were in a dungeon that was sealed by magic, and that magic was tied to the covering. And so, on the covering, suddenly a lich that was sealed in that dungeon can just walk out into the sunlight and might be launching an undead army from the north to attack the world. I don't know. That's never happened in fantasy before. We can't steal from that, right? No. Okay, cool. So check out that. And then on Fridays, we also have a game where we a group of people check out different RPGs. We play different types of RPGs together. And right now, our producer Marcus, who's awesome, is running Beneath the Cursed Moon, a vampire warlock gothic horror game made by a really cool designer whose name someone will tell me. Gracias? I think I have that right. Curious? There you go. I'll put it on Twitter as well. But you can check out that game as well. We're doing like a 4, maybe 6 episode arc with that, and then we're gonna swap systems and look at something else. We really are loving diving into new games and sort of exploring how they work and trying to understand how to play a game well, because RPGs are so often either something that you play one RPG for a long time and you spend a lot of time manipulating the RPG to sort of work it the way that you want it to work, or something that you pick up and you play a couple sessions and then you move on. We're trying to really focus on like figuring out what makes an RPG compelling as a system and see that we can like really try and embrace and understand that. Because different rules, this should shock no one, but it's very true and it shocks some people. Different rules literally will create different types of stories. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. If your RPG does not have rules for combat in it, then you will have no combat in your game. It's just the way it works. So you got to start thinking about those sorts of things, okay? Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. So check out some of our other shows. We're doing really good stuff. And you should come follow, subscribe. We're also going to start doing some edited stuff on YouTube. Our YouTube has been actual plays, but we are growing a little bit unhappy with that model for various reasons. We're probably going to keep the Twitch channel going, obviously, to a certain extent, but and keep doing things here. But I think the plan right now is to sort of see if we can find a workable solution that is not too much work, where we can edit down some of the episodes to a reasonable length, so you can enjoy them on our YouTube channel as well. We'll see how that works out. Okay, from there, let's get back into the game. So, you guys land on the floating city of Terra Vest. It is a glorious sunny morning. But that sun is sort of a mockery of some of the tension that's going on. War is on the has broken out. In some sense, it's still pretty scattered right now because the Kava is far away and Celestra is still organizing their army. They didn't launch a sudden sneak attack overnight. They declared war formally, which may say something about their intentions. I don't know. Actually, I do know. I'm lying. But they're definitely. But so war has been. So they're gathering their forces right now. But there's still tension. And Simians, but they are overshadowed right now by the solemnity of the situation. Casher turns off his gregarious charm and becomes like an officious diplomat. Large of personality still, but much more grave. Our Lightpath, the leader of the Grand Accord, welcomes graciously Casher, with Roland and Professor Recha at her side, one on each shoulder. Roland looks stiff and ready, to do his part. Professor Recha is clearly bored, clearly doesn't want to be there, clearly had no intention of coming to this thing, but someone forced her to come. She's probably got like an experiment on a boiler, and she like keeps on checking her mechanical timepiece to like get out of there as fast as possible. But like she gets that this is part of her job too. It's just a part of her job she doesn't care about and doesn't want to do it all. And so why is she doing it? But
Alexa winks at her.
Yeah, she does not notice. She's just too oblivious to everything. The sun's bright, and God, who goes outside anyways? Oh God, awful. And so is thinking about leaving. Ara speaks kindly and graciously, and Casher then reintroduces the five of you and thanks the Grand Accord for the loan of its citizens, and then refers to you guys as the chosen ones to these people here, and tells them that your aid may have shifted the fate of the world and changed the way that the world will exist in the universe for a long time. And Ara really doesn't know exactly what he's talking about. Roland has a little bit of a clue, but not a lot. And he told Ara, but Ara feels like there's more there. And the ceremony goes on for a while. There's a lot of like thanking and graciousness and bowing and scraping and blah 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 blah. But after about 30 minutes of this, Casher and our Lightpath retreat into a room to have a conversation. You guys see that there are ambassadors from the other nations, including Celestra, there at this opening ceremony. And we will see what this all amounts to. Celestra has been making some extreme about the Kava. And we're gonna have to figure out what that all amounts to. But here you guys are back at the floating city of Terra Vest, and I think that there are a lot of people around in general who like care about your safety, but they're also pretty easy to ignore. So you can more or less do whatever at this point. Check in with people. Ara's probably going to be secluded in meetings with Casher for a good chunk of the day. But beyond that, beyond Ara and Casher, you guys are probably able to speak to whomever you wish about whatever you wish and make whatever you wish happen. So let's start seeing what the characters are interested in making happen. You guys still have not mentioned our brain trim friends. So that's a thing to think about. And then some of you have your own ambitions as well. So what's the plan? Should I pick on someone? Should I go around should I do a full round robin? Just check in on everyone, see what they want to do? So
I just want to, before we do that, I want to make sure, in the sending I had sent to Roland, like before we left, I mentioned, he had mentioned being willing to and wanting to meet as soon as we landed.
Yes.
So I'll probably do that, but I'd like to include anyone who wants to be there for that as well.
Sounds good.
Just putting that
Yeah.
out there.
So I think actually what will happen then after this. Thanks for reminding me, Evan. I think what will happen after this is Roland will walk up to you guys and just sort of smile, not like broadly and warmly, but just like a tight-lipped smile, and I'll look at you and says, "Well, seems like you have made quite the impression. There's supposed to be formal debriefings of each of you, but for now at least, why don't you each just why don't you all come with me? We can have a quick conversation back in my chambers." So he turns and starts walking away. He's wearing a cloak because cloaks are cool. And on the back of the cloak, you see that there's a new logo. It looks like a large starburst. Yeah, that's the look that they're going for. It's a blue robe with a silver starburst on it. The starburst has 4 large points and then 8 smaller points betwixt them. So 2 between each. Kind of looks like a compass, honestly, but you can tell it's supposed to look like a star.
Good candy.
Okay, so he brings you back to his room, and there are chairs already laid out for you guys. Normally, there's only 2 chairs in this room, but there are 5 chairs in this room. And he looks at Nephany, and Captain Fliston, I think, looks at you and says, I'm going to go check in with some of my people, if that's okay.
Of course, yeah, I'll catch up with you later.
And Nephany just sort of finds herself standing outside the door. Roland has 2 guards there, but now there's 3 guards there.
I'll take a seat and say, there's a lot there's a lot to talk about, but we can try to be as brief as we can.
Oh no, take it away, Calaman.
No, I'd
By all
like
means.
for this to be a group effort. But
What caused the crash?
Of the original ship, right? That feels like years ago. Astrovarks.
What is an
we're not
astrovark?
entirely. I have no idea.
Oh, that's a little bit of an oversimplification. We did see them, right? They're like these flying wolf kinds of things. I mean, they definitely they weren't messing around, and it seemed like they were coming for us. But I don't think
aberrations.
Yeah, I guess. But we weren't able to figure out why, or if somebody sent them or what.
Interesting. But after the ship crashed, you ended up in the woods somewhere? Is that what happened?
Yes, we collected, I believe most of, if not the entire crew, survived the crash. And we shepherded them to a town to the northwest, the name of which I can't remember. Left some of them there.
We received a letter from there from one of them. That's how we knew you survived the crash.
Thank you.
Did they actually? I think that many of them were going to come back this way. Did you hear if they arrived?
No one's made it back yet, but it's only been a month. Overland travel from there should take about a month and a half.
Oh my goodness! Oh, okay, wow.
It's not the easiest of terrain. There's a mountain range in the way.
More importantly, I think, the original letter that you received, indicating that we should be sent to the Kva, was, I mean, part of it was in good faith, but was ultimately a ploy.
And you have become their chosen?
We are their chosen, by way of the new head of the Kari, their council, manipulating their government to get us to be their chosen and to get us to take down the covering, which happened. And
So that was their goal.
that was her goal, yes. It seems that way.
So she was intending on you taking down the covering when she invited you.
Or at least swaying us in the direction of wanting to do that.
And what does this mean for us, the covering being down? We've heard rumors and stories, but our lines of communication are not the broadest yet.
Aliens.
Aliens.
I think it means danger and opportunity.
The universe as we know it has changed. The planets above, the heavens, are not what they seemed. There's much life and much intelligent life out there that is now making its way down here. One of the reasons that the Kva mentioned that they were keeping the covering up was to protect this world's resources, specifically Earthsplit. And likely other things that I'm not honestly well versed in. But I would say this possible war between Celestra and the Kva is the least of our worries.
I don't know about that, but
Is comparatively.
I absolutely agree that us fighting each other pales in comparison with everything else that is out there. That being said, this is a time when we need to be unified and work together for the common goal here, the common good of, one, survival and progress.
You will find out soon enough, so it might as well come from me, that the ambassador from Celestra is making the exact same claim. He's saying that they are going to war against the Kva because the Kva refuses to be unified with the rest of the Shimmering Seas. It is a foolish and idiotic claim, of course. Everyone's so scared of the damn war that we're trying to find a way to get out of it. Primarch Magli Black Ice is a scum of a leader. He's been a real problem. He didn't... God, I don't know. You guys, you've been thrown into events above your pay grade, and so I understand if you don't know the whole history. Illumina Starborn was an icon. She was anything and everything that you could possibly want in a leader. She was charismatic and kind, and she found ways of bringing people together and pointing out how they agreed in ways that you never would have imagined. She was something special. And so she convinced the Grand Accord to exist. And it's not a stretch to say that it exists by her will. And then the explosion happened. She was killed. Several of the top allies were killed, including the leader of Celestra. And Magli Black Ice inherited that position. He has not been elected to it. He was the runner-up. And so got it by virtue of chaos. But from there, everything is since then, he's been a member of the Accord because his predecessor joined it, and not exactly in name only, but the minimum only is what I would say, right? We were trying to build this set of agreements to work with each other, and he's against even the smallest ones, right? And we're trying to build up trade between these nations so that we can be more closely bonded to each other and not just kill each other. But he trades the absolute minimum. Everything is against with him. And now Chalestra's off to war. And I don't know what Ara is going to do. But she sees through this, obviously. She sees that Chalestra is the warmonger here. But it's certainly it's also true that the Kava has been incredibly standoffish. You know, if Chalestra has been the least or the most willing to be do the minimum, the Kava is barely present at all. Well, it's hard to know what to do.
I mean, so I'll relay as quickly as I can the reasoning behind that, or the reasoning that they've told us, and about the Celestial Domain, about the Empire, about the Illithid, about other species that we met at the ceremony, about the ceremony itself, really everything except for brain shrimp.
The brain shrimp. Yeah. By Marilla's holy name. What insanity. I need to get this information to Ara and Professor Brecha as soon as possible. Is there anything else that I should know?
I think it's safe to say that with Nuja leading the Kva, you'll find more opportunities for engagement with her and with them than you did before, and everything that Caliban said is true, and that's what I meant by danger and opportunity. And if but I don't agree that Chalestra is the least of our problems. It seems like the Chalestra seems like a dangerous distraction, and I'm wondering if there must be many in Chalestra who don't agree with its current leader.
I would hope so. What are you suggesting? Are you suggesting that the Grand Accord finance a rebellion against one of its members?
Well, no, and I don't think that the Grand Accord would want to know about any such thing if it were happening.
You are absolutely correct. That is absolutely the sort of thing that the Grand Accord would have no desire to know anything about.
And I'm sure you have plenty that you want to talk to, that you need to go talk to our and Professor, the professor about right now.
Of course. Yeah. Though I just wanted to make sure again that there's nothing else that you want to tell me. The DM says to the players, staring politely at the through the fourth wall.
I think she wants to keep the brain shrimp under wraps for now.
I totally approve. I just wanted to make sure that this was an opportunity, and I wanted to make it as clear as possible. Cool. Okay.
There are some things we cannot yet tell you, but know that aliens, as Nova said, not all of them are evil.
If they're sentient, then I would presume that is the case. Sentient creatures can be reasoned with. Some sentient creatures suck, but that is different than evil.
Just like here.
Magley Black Eyes, for example, sucks. That never leaves this room, please. Okay. I have to go tell all of this to Ara and Recha. He stands up. Make yourselves at home, I guess. Your old rooms were cleaned out for you again, and I guess I don't know how to say this exactly, but you were all picked from total obscurity and now are no longer quite so obscure.
Well, not total obscurity.
There were some variants, I'll admit, between each of you, but nonetheless, your work thus far with the Kava has been impressive, if not exactly satisfactory, and incredible. And if there's anything that the Grand Accord can do to further support you, I hope you will let us know. Think on it. If you want jobs or positions here or resources to do something, we certainly owe you quite a bit. Certainly from what we have heard from the Cabal, we owe you more than quite a bit. So think on what that would be, what that would look like, what position and what shape you want to take here. I must go and speak with Ara. If you're going to speak to Professor Recha, this would be a good time.
Thank you, sir.
He nods and walks out of the room, his own office.
Oh, look, we didn't have to break in this time.
Coming to this one. I've got nothing that I really need to do today, so if anyone wants me to tag along with something they want to do, I'm happy to oblige.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, let's do a quick round robin and just check in with everyone and see what everyone wants to do now that they're here. I bet that there are some pressing things and some not pressing things that people are curious about doing, or maybe acts that people want to set into motion, letters that they want to send about research or things of various sorts. Also, if anyone has any friends in Celestra that they might want to check in on, they should consider doing that if they want to. Let's do a quick round robin. Timothy, who I swear to God, I almost called a different name, but I'm not going to do it. Timothy, do you have something that you want to do?
In order of importance, number one, I'm going to go jump in the ocean.
Perfect. Bam, you're wet. It feels good.
Yeah. Number two, I am going to schedule an appointment with the leading journalist? ?
Sure. Yeah. There's absolutely always journalists here. This is, it's neutral territory, right? So people come here to negotiate things and announce big deals. So yes, there's a whole journalist thing here, and it's international, and there's several different newspapers that are competing.
Great.
Yeah.
And
are you looking for something? Sorry, a leading journalist? Are you looking for like a good journalist or a tabloid journalist? Because you can get either.
A good journalist.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't know if you want to spread gossip or something like that. Then that would be a different type of thing. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. No problem.
And thirdly, I'm going to send all of the gold that I have anonymously to my estranged wife.
Interesting. Okay, sounds good. I approve. An anonymous letter to an estranged wife. I like it. Works for me. Okay. Next up, let's check in with. So I start with Timothy. We'll go around the clock. So Nova.
Okay. So, I have a couple things I'm interested in doing. One of them is I would like to discover the seedy underbelly of Terravest. And I would like to also see if I can get myself a second sword, like a magic sword or something. Maybe that's something that I find in the seedy underbelly. Maybe that's something I find elsewhere, but something a little less volatile than my current sword.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Let's roll an investigation check for the seedy underbelly.
Okay. Plus my backstory thing?
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, your backstory thing. Sorry, yeah, yes, of course, your backstory thing. Guys, I don't always look at your backstory, so it's always good to remind me of your backstory stuff that applies here. Cool.
So that's the Watcher's Eye. So
Yeah.
it gives me a feel for local laws and criminals. Easy helps me find dens of criminal activity.
Great. Yeah. Then I think there's actually no roll. I take it back. You're able to find this. So we've got two options here. We have sort of two different and competing, not competing, two different seedy underbellies that don't really have that much to do with each other, which sounds weird, but makes more sense when I explain them. The first is that there are people who come here to Terravest hoping for like job opportunities that don't come through. And so we have sort of like an itinerant homeless population that's living here. There's people who want to go on like exploring vessels, sail to explore the seas, but doesn't really work out for them. And so they end up like sort of living down there. This population is actually greatly decreasing because our light path sort of took it upon herself to try and help these people because of events in another campaign. Actually, some other people were very unhappy with this, and so laws have been passed to sort of help these people. So they're greatly decreasing, but they are still there. So we do have like sort of a poorer population that is learning to deal with things. And then the other seedy underbelly is gamblers and thieves and people who are like international criminal type people. Because it's to bribe and manipulate people to get your way because lots of important people come through here. And hey, you know what's fun? You can also steal the jewelry off of rich and important people when they come through here and things like that. So there's that sort of culture here as well.
Would Nova, and you feel free to absolutely say no, would you have mentioned that you were doing this to the rest of us?
Yeah, I think I probably would have said it as an open invitation. Like, anyone want to go explore the seedy underbelly with me?
Celexa loves a seedy underbelly. Slumming is one of her favorite pastimes.
Caliban's down, Thea's down, Selexa's down. Timothy, are you joining or no?
Oh, I thought I had my other thing.
No, you do, but I mean, yeah, you can. Time. I'm happy if you want to be able to join this, you should feel free to join this. Otherwise, we'll say that you're going to be having your interview with your journalist at this time.
I will absolutely go with you if you're going to go see the jobless, homeless people living down by the docks or something. That sounds like me.
I don't know. Which seedy underbelly do we want to visit?
I'm invested in going to see some gamblers and thieves personally.
That sounds way more fun.
Yeah.
Less depressing, I think.
Totally fair. So Timothy is not going with you. Instead, he's going to go to the newspapers. Excellent. So what are you looking for here, Nova?
I am. I don't know. Part of me wants to just kind of get in a fight. The other part of me has some stuff that I acquired at certain points and might want to sell. For example, I have a box of Starlight, which I don't know if it has a purpose or a great use for anything, but we couldn't figure it out. But it seems like something cool someone might want to buy. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you're gonna find like a seedy like dealer of magic items. That's sort of what you're looking for right now, right? Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you search around and you find this seedy underbelly, and you're able to find someone who's able to point you in the direction. It's built into like a wall. So it's like built like there's a natural wall that is part of this floating island, and built into it there's like some caves and caverns, but they've been turned into like homes or small places. And someone points to a door, and the door has like 3 scratches along it. Besides that, it has no label. But someone says that's where you want to go.
Okay, thank you. All right. Let's go in.
Yeah. So you guys go to the door and open it, and as you open it, you see like a dark, dank, dusty place. When you open the door, Calvin.
Just said dank.
Dank, yeah, always good. But you take one step forward, and you're inside the perimeter, and you see that this is all an illusion. That actually this is quite nice, and actually you hear roaring crowds in the distance of some sort.
Speaking of illusions, I just want to mention that Celexa is currently 7 or 8 inches taller than she actually is, and she looks like an elf, kind of nondescript elf. Yeah.
Just to hide yourself when you're going into seedy places.
Just looking a little bit slightly less conspicuous.
That's good. Yeah. So behind the counter is a halfling with like greasy blonde hair, and like bleached blonde hair, and slightly like darker skin, and he's sitting there holding a quill, and he looks up at you and says, "Yes."
I have something I'd like to sell.
Oh, you have a toy for Ugarte?
Yes, I do.
Tell me of this toy that you have.
Well, it's bright and shiny, and it's in this box, and I pull it out and crack it open.
And like you see the light like illuminate his face, and he looks down at it and praising eye, and he says, "Does it do anything?"
Out of game. Did we figure out if it does anything?
Nope.
Very Pulp Fiction moment.
Yep, very Pulp Fiction moment. I mean, you know, that's what we're going for. Yeah. No, you never figured out.
It's very valuable and rare.
Prettier than gold, I think. Glitter's nicer too.
I think so.
And is this a gift for Ogati, or do you want to trade it?
I think trade.
And what can Ugarte offer to you?
I'm looking for a really nice sword.
Swords come in many styles. You have a image in your mind of what you are looking for?
I would like some sort of magical greatsword.
This is something that Ugarte does not currently have, but may be able to find for you. Give me 24 hours.
Okay. And would this be equal trade?
I will find something that is equal, and if you decide that it is fair, then it is fair. If not, then Ugarte offer more.
Okay, that sounds good.
You seem like a aggressive type.
Oh,
Punch.
Yeah, that's me.
You ever do any fighting?
Oh, sure.
Your friends help you out?
Yeah. Why?
Any magic allowed?
Of course. 'Tis cage match.
Good stuff.
You interested?
Sounds.
You entertain the crowd, you get paid. You fail to entertain the crowd, you get eaten.
Eaten by what?
Yeah, whatever we have today or tomorrow.
Do we get to know before we walk in the ring?
No, that would not be fair.
Oh my gosh, I used to watch these all the time. I've always wanted to do this.
All right, should we do this?
No time like the present.
I know Thea's in.
I think you hear like a scream from down the stairs. Ah, my arm! My arm! He ripped off my arm!
Yeah, all 4 of us in at once?
Yes, of course. It is a team match, the 4 of you versus, well, whatever we throw at you.
We might want to check in with one colleague of ours to see if he might want to join. Give us a little bit of time.
But of course, the cage is there. We pay. How good are you?
We're good.
We're revered in other lands.
Revered.
She tells the truth.
Yeah. Roll a persuasion check. Yeah.
Sure.
Technically true. The best kind of true.
Yeah. And he looks at you and says, "Revered, eh? Well, we shall see what that amounts to here in our cage. 800 ahead. Each of you gets 800 for participating in the match. If you walk out the other side, of course."
Great.
Hey, I mean, she did, as she just said, we are revered. And I feel like knowing that we can draw a crowd, and I think you can afford 1,000.
You can draw a crowd? Yeah, roll persuasion, obviously, because that's just true. Are you, well, actually, let me rephrase. Are you actually going to, are you going to advertise this?
No, I mean, I think Selexa was speaking more,
perfect.
Like, hypothetically speaking.
Yeah,
people know who we are, so, we could draw a crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so persuasion check plus guidance.
Cool.
If you were actually going to, like, canvass the town advertising this secretly, then I would give you advantage.
Okay.
As well, but no.
We can maybe fight when I come and pick up my new sword.
And what's guidance?
D4.
Plus a D4.
So 26.
Beautiful. And he looks at you and says, you tempt Ugarte well. I like the way you speak, pretty elf."
Well, I don't think we'll disappoint you. Guys, let's go, I have a feeling like he's good for it. Let's go grab you-know-who.
Ugarte is good for everything.
Ooh, skeezy. I don't say that out loud.
Totally fair. Okay, let's so you guys can go pick up Timothy if you want to participate in this. If you want to hold it off till tomorrow, I think he might even say that. I think he might even say, "We're gonna do this tomorrow," and it'll be after you get your magic sword as well, so that we don't have random magic cast to disrupt this as well. And let's go check in with Timothy and your interview with the reporter. So what do you want to? So you've just come back from the Kava, so reporters are super eager to hear about it and hear about you. So the second you walk into like any newspaper place, I don't think any newspapers are headed here, but probably there will be some soon. But all of them have like offices here and reporters that live here full time. And so as soon as you enter any place, are you interested like in a newspaper that is for a particular nation or?
I'm fine with like the Fantasy Associated Press.
Sounds good. Okay. Yeah, so they're super eager to talk to you. They want to hear all about the Kava. But what's your intent here? What do you want to tell them?
I want to I want to come out like with a strong anti-war stance.
Okay. Yeah. From the Kava, or from you. So what's the intention? So you want to? You're trying to get right in an op-ed. Actually, you're not actually giving an interview.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's like an exclusive sit down with one of the chosen few.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of pitfalls, and reporters probably like they want to try and trap you in some way. So I feel like there's got to be a role here.
Okay.
So I think persuasion is the best bet.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start by saying, I'm going to ask you what you screw up here. And then I'm going to add to it and make it worse because you got a nat 1. So I get to torture you a little bit here. So I'm going to start by saying, what's something that you didn't intend to share with them that you shared with them?
It was a mistake that we let the covering fall.
Okay, so yeah, that's perfect. So it was not purposeful that you brought down the covering. It was unintentional. Yeah. So the headline of the article is "Chosen or Buffoonery." And the article comes out, will come out that is sort of mocking you guys. It points out, it overemphasizes.
I just remembered that I have a recourse. Is it far too late for that?
No.
I'd like to spend my lucky die, my lucky point.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So I get to reroll that.
Send me on this roller coaster ride.
Right, so, well, it could come out the same way.
Let's find out. 18, much better. So how do you recover from this? How this person is you start speaking with this person and you let it be known that the covering is the fall of the covering is a mistake and not something that you intended. And this person is going to leap on that and wants to turn it into sort of a what's the word? He wants to point out that you guys are nobodies, right? The chosen are just random people, and wants to write a whole story about how you're nobodies and these were trained, now they're incompetent, and sort of kind of unintentionally write an article that argues for the divine right of kings and powerful lineages or something like that, rather than random happenstance. So how do you recover from this mistake?
Heroes are not born. All our favorite characters in the history books were all born in the same way. We all come from nothing. We are nothing. Yes, of course. I am merely a humble fisherman and biologist by trade. But we, you don't have greatness. Most people don't have greatness thrust upon you. It happens, and you have to rise to the occasion, or falter.
And do you feel that you have risen to the occasion, having apparently taken down the covering and shifting the whole face of the planet?
Yes.
And so now that you have risen to the occasion, do you feel? How do you feel about the war between Celestra and Kava?
It's an absolute travesty. I will tell you something that I firmly believe in. A loss of sentient, innocent life, that is the worst thing anyone can ever do. That is the main reason why I argued for the covering to come down. That is the main reason why this war is a travesty.
Many in Celestra say that the Kava have too much power, that the fact that they brought the covering upon us in the first place was a sign of them coddling us and or hurting us. And now that it's down, they have actually brought about a great deal of damage.
Does a father clownfish coddle his babies? No, it protects them until they are ready to leave the reef or start their own fish colony.
And what about the Kavanian's assassination attempt?
I believe that time will show that is a great misunderstanding. As you know, while I was born in Celestra, do you think that everything I do reflects on Celestra itself? Do you think I am an agent of Celestra in this interview?
A diplomat from Kava attempted to assassinate a Celestran leader, and you're saying that this diplomat was not speaking for the Kava?
That is what I believe. I think there's more evidence to be discovered. I mean, whatever happened to a trial?
Well, unfortunately, everyone involved is dead.
Yes, that does complicate it.
Very well. Well, I think I have what I need for our story. Thank you for your perspective. Nice.
Thank you.
And the interview is over. So I think the report comes out the next day. And I think it isn't like the most flattering report you've ever seen. I think the DC for like a good report was like a 15, so you beat that. But the DC for like a great report was like a 20, and you didn't beat that. So I think that it's a good report. It definitely gets your point across, and anyone reading it will see your point. But it definitely expresses you as being slightly out of your depth, slightly naive. And there's a little bit of like an accusation of being like a Kavanian apologist, right? Like not taking the in citizen a Kavanian, a prominent Kavanian advisor to Chalestra tried to assassinate a Chalestran leader. So it gets part of your point across, but not everything that you want.
Sounds like decent journalism.
You know, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Excellent. Okay.
So Lexa is definitely going to want to talk to Professor Recha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you go to Professor Recha. Let's speak with her.
I also think that before she goes to see Professor Recha, she is going to cast enhance ability on herself and enhance her charisma.
Sounds good. You now have advantage on charisma checks. Okay. For the next hour.
So yeah, she goes to the professor's office and kind of like leans in the office and like knocks on her door and says, "Hey, did you miss me?"
She like looks at you, and she's like wearing these big goggles and her eyes are bug-eyed again. She looks at you and she says, "Which one are you again?"
I swear, I'm Celexa. I like worked for you for a while.
Oh right, you're my assistant that disappeared.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to again?
This place called the Kava.
Right, the chosen one. You were supposed to leave. Sorry, you didn't abandon. I can't tell you how fast I go through assistants. It's makes it very hard to keep track of them. The chosen one. Right. Welcome back here. I went to a ceremony thanking you. You did good work, apparently.
Well, we did something. Hey, do you have an assistant right now? I used to be staying here. Can you mind if I come back and move into this spot? I don't want to go and sleep with the riffraff in the bunks.
Oh.
Yeah, I can have my room back. That's okay.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right.
And she turns around and she snaps her fingers, and like some like mild-mannered person just comes into the room and like nods, and she says, Harold? And he nods, and she's right. You're fired. Get out. He nods and walks away. This is not the first time he's been fired. You can have Harold's room.
Oh, well, thank you. Much appreciated. So, I sent I did promise you I would look out for you while I was gone, and I sent you a gift actually, but I don't think it's gotten here yet.
Takes time depending on how far it's going and who's trading it and things like that.
Well,
what did you send?
It was. I feel like I want it to be a surprise, but it's going to be coming overland from whatever the name of that town is. I'll tell her the name of the town. Yeah. They're coming on foot from there, so quite an adventure to get here. Hopefully it arrives. But
sounds good.
Yeah, the other thing, I think that we've done you more of a favor in the Kava than you even know yet. The new there are things in the Kava that I had no idea existed, and I think would even surprise you, and that all different beings and different kinds of airships and all kinds of amazing wonders, and the thanks to us, the new leader of the Kava is not only an extremely progressive leader, but also is kind of an inventor, sort of like yourself. And I feel
Is
like
this Nuja? Is that her name?
oh yes, you've must have heard through Roland.
Yes, and at the ceremony, I try to remember those names because they might have to mean something. Anyway, yes, absolutely, Nuja.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Nuja, I mean Nuja and I are just like that. I mean, she would not be where she is now if it weren't for me. I can say that absolutely. And I don't know. I think that uh, if you were interested, I could help be a go between. You know, I could. She might have some things that you would be to trade that you would be interested in. Things like, oh, I don't know, Earth's blood,
Mhm.
or
Yes, Roland was telling me that this is apparently a particularly valuable resource on a different scale than we were aware of. I mean, it's always been a valuable resource here for me and my studies and for research and the like, but apparently it's useful elsewhere.
uh, well, for one thing, the first airship that we rode in was powered by it. So that in and of itself, I can imagine
That's where the chair came from.
exactly. So if
And she looks off into the distance, and you have no idea what she's talking about exactly. But
well, I'm thinking. I was thinking of the chair on the airship, but
oh yeah, that's oh then
Yeah.
you are thinking what she's thinking about, but
Yeah.
you don't know how she knows that.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't. So yeah, I think that if you made it worth her while, she could probably she indicated to me that she would be able to maybe procure some vials of earth blood, perhaps even some airship plans from the empire. But if you're interested, this kind of thing, you're being a scientist and everything, the official channels aren't always um, very aren't always the most efficient or the most safe. And I would be happy to be your go-between in any such a deal. I of
roll
course,
roll a persuasion check.
Sure.
Obviously, you have advantage from your thing.
Yeah.
Perfect. With 29, you beat my insanely high DC for secret stuff. And so she looks at you and looks around and says, her demeanor changes slightly. It calms down and it's less frenetic than it was. And she looks at you and she says, can you come with me into the back room for just a minute?
Oh, of course, yes. So Lexa will follow her.
Yeah, and you've never been into this room. This is the room that she always would go into and never send you into.
This is the room presumably where she pulled out the Naga necklace.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
And this room, it seems relatively bare. It's dark wood in the room, and there's a cabinet on one side that is closed, and then a desk with a chair before it for her and a chair for you. And there's a couple of papers on it, but they're very neat. And it's sort of it's very different than outside, which is basically a den of chaos, right? There's just an explosion every 4 or 5 seconds randomly because of some random experiment that she sometimes looks over, but most of the time ignores. But this is just very clean and neat. And she sits you down. Celexa, I see some potential in you. Not as a scientist, don't worry. I wouldn't bore you like that.
Oh, thank God. Save that for Timothy.
I am obviously a researcher. That's what my passion is. But much of this personality that you see, it is an act. I am not entirely what I seem. I am also the spy master for the Grand Accord.
Interesting.
And I would like you to work for me.
I have one question. How do you feel about this whole Chalestra business?
I have learned as spy master, it is not in my position to have strong feelings, but rather to find ways to enact ours will. I will admit that I liked your plan that you presented to Roland earlier today. The one where we find people who disagree and support them. This seems like a reasonable solution, particularly if our fingertips are never seen within it. We can allow the Chalestran people to find themselves again.
And I take it your hands aren't tied in the same ways that Roland's are.
I see no rope.
Neither do I.
I don't have any connection to the rebellion, though. I don't know anyone there who's part of it, or I know it's there, but I haven't been able to. Magley has assassinated several of the people who were leaders in the rebellion. I have suspicions, but no evidence, not enough to grant a gift of gold to support them.
Well, yes, I under the circumstances, I think I would like to help, and the caveat is that you'll have to let me use my own discretion in talking to the others to see who of them can be trusted.
You are not to reveal my other job to anyone. I am the professor and the scientific researcher. And to be fair, I am. This is a field that I am deeply passionate about. Mm-hmm. This is something that I care about. I like research. But you do what you see as must. I give my agents plenty of freedom to act as they will. The most important thing is that you keep me informed of your actions. And occasionally, a problem must be removed.
I think you can count on me. And in the meantime, I'll return to discuss trades with Nuja. Like I said, I'm happy to be your correspondent for that. And here is a little advance on that. And she pulls out a vial of Earth's blood and puts it out on the desk.
And she looks at it and takes it and looks at you and stands up and walks over to the rosewood cabinet. Mm-hmm. And she opens it very small amount and carefully puts it inside, keeping it blocked from your view. And then deposits the Earth's blood inside and then closes it and locks it and puts the key back in her front pocket.
Okay.
And then she walks over to you and says, "Hold on, my dear," and pulls out a drawer and picks up a piece of paper and puts it down before you and then closes the drawer. Read it.
But now?
Yes.
Okay. She reads it.
Yeah, it's an oath of loyalty to the Grand Accord.
Mm.
I know it's against your nature to agree to things, but for safety. Surely you can see this is necessary.
Oh, what the hell? She signs it.
Yeah, before you go to sign it, she pulls out a knife and points at and like gestures to your finger and offers you the knife.
Oh, it's that kind of deal, huh?
I find it works. Crude but effective.
My great grandmother put herself on the line for peace, and that's what my family has always stood for. As long as that's what the Grand Accord is standing for, then yeah, okay, I'm with you. And she pricks her finger and signs her name.
Cool. Okay. Excellent. Did you have something else you wanted to say to her?
No, I think that's all for now.
Perfect. Excellent. Thea, how you doing?
Good. I wonder, is there a place where I could buy maybe like a sword or something?
You don't want to go to the same place? You don't like Ugarti? Or
Well,
you
maybe.
want something
I don't
more
I
or
don't
you
have any crazy thing to trade, I don't think.
Okay. The other option that you have that is not like a bad option is literally the last thing Roland said to you guys is the Grand Accord owes you a lot. What do you want?
Oh, yeah, right.
So it's not like the worst thing in the world to do. To walk up to him. Yeah, sure. I'll do magic item rounds this week and toss people a magic item if you haven't gotten one recently. That sounds reasonable. So I'm looking. Yes, yeah. No, but actually, I think the Grand Accord will just gift everyone something, and then Nova will get this additional greatsword because she has traded for it. So Nova is getting 2 things. Everyone else is going to get 1. That sound good? Cool. I'll make the rounds and get 5 magic items from the Grand Accord for everyone this week. Cool stuff. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Anything else?
No. Other than that,
Got everyone 5 magic items, so that's not a bad thing to do. Yeah. I guess I want to ask you. Is there anything that you want to do in particular with regards to our 5 squishy friends?
I think I just want to keep them safe. So maybe is there somewhere in my room where I think they'll be unmessed with?
No, but you could make something like that if you wanted to create like a hidey hole or something, like a secret compartment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, can I do that?
Sure, yeah. So what do you look for in your room to make a secret compartment out of? Do you cut a floorboard out? Do you find shove it in a drawer somewhere? Do you hide it behind a drawer somewhere? Like what does that do?
Well, I think I look around to see if there's any loose floorboards already.
Yeah, roll an investigation check. Yeah, there's a floorboard that's a little bit looser than the rest. That would be easier to pull out.
So I think I lift it up and see if maybe there's enough room there for me to.
It's a little bit small for the trunk, and it's a little bit small for five friends. But it's like dirt and foundation underneath there, so you could dig.
Yeah, I'm gonna dig.
Okay, so you dig out the space, carving out essentially a trunk wide hole in the ground. Or trunk wide plus a floorboard hole in the ground for your trunk.
Cool. So I put the trunk in there and I cover the board back up. And then is there like a rug or something that I can?
Sure, yeah. You can get a rug.
Just to hide it a little more.
I love it. Yeah. Super hidden.
Yay.
Perfect. Okay, excellent. Yeah, you have hidden your friends. I don't know what you're going to do with them, because at some point, you got to do something with them. They're just like there. I guess we could just have Brain Trip living in the floor for a while, but for now at least they're just there. Caliban.
Yeah, I was actually. Thea, are you doing this like the night we arrived?
Yeah, I think as soon as I get a moment to myself, I try to hide them.
Okay. I'll be waiting outside your door when you walk out. And go, hey, you've talked a little bit about it, but what was it like sharing a consciousness?
It was honestly kind of nice. I don't know. I've never really had someone to be around me all the time, like that much. And then all of a sudden, I had not just like a best friend, but a total companion, someone I shared every thought with.
I wish I weren't such a cynical person. Because whatever you've described it so far, all I can think is, oh, she must have been manipulated. Even if that isn't the case, even if that's not true, even if a little bit of it is true, you think of it as a good thing that happened to you, but not something that you chose not to have anymore. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, that's my concern as well. I'm not sure that I wasn't doing it all of my own free will. But from what I can remember, it was quite nice.
Okay. I trust that you'll know what to do.
I hope it comes to me.
And I'll be here to help with whatever you decide to do.
Thanks, Caliban.
Sure thing. I'll walk. I'll watch Thea start to walk in a different direction. I'll start to walk in an opposite direction. And when I see her gone, I'll turn around. And I'll head to her door and stand there for a second. And I'll sit down for a moment. And I'm going to cast Sending to my mom.
Okay.
Hope you're okay. Hope Dad's okay. It's safe for you. Can I trust you still? Can I love you still? That's all I'll say.
Caliban, our home was destroyed when the sky went mad. We are staying in the Temple of Tamden. Of course you can trust us. Of course.
Quick aside. Before I left, I arrested my dad.
I know. She doesn't make any comment about that.
Okay, great.
She doesn't say anything about that. Yeah,
great.
She makes no comment about your dad's position or where your dad is.
and Caliban's gonna sit there for a second and just curse to himself for a while. Just like nothing's changed. He wasn't able to do anything. He wasn't able to change himself. He wasn't able to change anything. He checks Thea's door. Did she lock it?
Did you lock it, Thea?
Caliban walks away. And goes back to the gambler's den, the thieves' den. And will have changed clothes, I think. Will have gone back and changed it to something way more, just the dirtiest, shittiest clothes he owns. And goes back there. And gets shit-faced. And probably blacks out at the bar.
Beautiful. Well, that's a depressing note to end on, but I think that's an appropriate note to end on too. So we will return next week. We'll check in with everything. We're going to do a cage fight because that sounds fun. Let's do that. And we'll have our new leveling system temporarily worked out. Not that we're not going to edit or revise it as we go along, but that's certainly on the agenda. And we'll start figuring out how to stop a war, maybe, or something else. I don't know. Yeah, all those good things. Yeah, cool. Well, that was fun. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm so glad that you guys are enjoying hanging out in the stream and checking us out. It looks like we capped out at about 16 people watching. I will take that. Sounds pretty good to me. Yeah, awesome stuff, guys. Good work all around. Good work, team. And I'm excited to see where we go next week. Again, we'll see how things develop. Thank you all so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Come check out some of our other shows. Like, follow, and subscribe. We've got shows every Monday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. This is The Chosen Few. Monday is the assassination of Primarch Magli Black Ice. Thursday is our beautiful dungeon delve into the hidden tomb of Akarut. And Friday, we try out different RPG systems and learn how they work. So come check out some of that stuff. It's pretty cool. Please go live a good and happy life. Take care of someone who is less well off than you if you can. Someone or some people, as many as you can, or as many as are reasonable. And also, as always, please do not forget the most important thing that I can possibly tell you. Always call your cat and feed your mom.